Thomas, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Panthers.
Thank you. Excited about it.
Well, it's been, I imagine, like a whirlwind week last few days. Can you take me through what's been going on with you?
So a long off season for me, starting first with a head coach interview and then 5 OC interviews leading to this point, which I'm excited about this opportunity and ready to get to work.
Tell me about this connection that you and Frank have formed very quickly. He spoke a little bit about it. You didn't know each other.
No.
And the way he describes it, it was like just like an instant bond, seeing each other.
Here's what I appreciate about Frank. So I think from day one when he called me, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago, about the interview opportunity, he was clear, he was open, and honest about the direction he wanted to go in. So being able to give me a true opportunity to come in and meet with him, meet with the entire staff, and he's been first class from day one. I love working with him.
And what is that direction that Frank and now you and this offensive staff want to go in?
Collaborative. So doing a really good job of putting some great minds together, some great coaches together, understanding how to play complementary football as far as having all three phases come together, offense, defense, and special teams, but putting a great product on the field for our fans.
Speaking of some of those coaches that you were just talking about, you got quite a staff,
yeah.
right? You got quite an offensive staff. Tell me, who did you know? Who have you heard about? Who are you excited to get to know?
Well, first off, phenomenal staff, some great coaches, some kind of who's list by position coaches' names. But I met Deuce a couple years ago. I worked at the University of South Carolina in 2019. It's obviously his son was on the staff, so I kind of saw him on the treadmill, giving some juice, being super energetic, and he was an awesome dude to kind of meet from that standpoint and try to stay in contact with him and kind of pick his brain. Just being it's my 4th year going to the NFL and trying to learn from a veteran coach like himself. Obviously, Sean Jay, we're playing against him in Arizona, so having some battles there with our two teams from a division rival standpoint, and his son obviously plays for the Rams, so Van's an awesome player, awesome human being. So those are the two guys I knew before the staff, but obviously really excited about getting to work with everybody. I think one of the best traits you can have as far as a coach is like your tape being your resume. So I remember last year when you guys made a coaching change, like watching the offensive line go to work. So being able to have a chance to meet with James Campbell is a big part of me wanting to kind of be here and kind of collaborate with him and be involved. And obviously, adding guys like Josh McCown with Parks Frazier as well, on top of being here with Frank as well, is like a dream come true for me.
Well, now that you mentioned the offensive line, of course you know Austin Corbett, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What have you thought of what James Campen and that O-line were able to do last season that's got you excited?
So to me, I think number 2 in our football philosophy, what I've always thought is everything starts up front. So with the run game and everything building off of that, with the marriage of our runs, our pass, the keepers, the play action pass game, but also just mentality-wise. So I love being able to approach it from a physical standpoint, to be a tone setter, that type of mentality, and obviously Austin Corbett was obviously phenomenal for us in LA. I love to kind of reconnect with him here in Carolina.
So I was just going to ask you, and you said that's one of your big tenets of what an offense looks like, a Thomas Brown offense. What is that? How would you describe it, aside from what you just said?
Well, obviously have a lot of fun, score some points,
Yeah.
but to me, I break it down from an identity standpoint first, right? So I think it starts with all 11 guys being physical at the point of contact, a quarterback being included when it comes to his mentality in the pocket, not being a flitzer when the pocket gets kind of crowded some. We talked about it doing a really good job understanding how to eliminate those mistakes. So often end up beating themselves. So we talk about turnovers a lot, obviously eliminating those, not having missed assignments, and also eliminating penalties as well. To me, the third point when it comes to identity is find, exploit, and win matchups. That's across the board. That's running backs, that's receivers, that's tight ends, but also throwing hands up front, a guard kind of fitting up on a 3 technique as well. So putting all the great ideas we have with our entire coaching staff and putting our players in the best spot to be able to end up making plays. So.
You mentioned quarterback. Aside from just being tough, which is also something I've heard Frank say about a quarterback, what's your ideal quarterback?
So got to have great intangibles from a mental capacity standpoint. Want to have a great leader be able to step into that huddle, to have that pocket presence, that mentality as well. But obviously a natural thrower of the football, which is kind of key and critical, because if not, I could play quarterback if it didn't have to come with that. But I think you can talk about different metric numbers when it comes to size and build, which a lot of QBs, like a lot of players, come in different sizes and shapes. But think about that guy being like a point guard mentality. Be a facilitator, get the ball to your playmakers, and then when it comes time to go play Superman on 3rd down, 2-minute red zone, go be Superman.
Go do the job.
Absolutely.
How has your playing career impacted the way that you coach and now you as an offensive coordinator?
So to me, in every way, I think a starting point of I fell in love with the game of football when I was about 8 years old, right? Watching this cat by the name of Barry Sanders.
Heard of him?
Yeah, he's a pretty good one. He's my favorite player of all time. But I think to me it was a physical mentality. Maybe just call it my short man syndrome, but I always believed in forcing the issue of being tough, but also being, poised and calm at the same time. I think every stop I've had, from my park ball days with Tucker Lions to being at Tucker High School to also my UGA days and my brief playing career in the league, has led to this point as well.
Well, shout out to the Tucker Lions,
Gotcha.
first of all. Yes,
We're an
absolutely.
undefeated team from 8 to 13, so we could have taken on anybody.
That's something that's got to go on like your Wikipedia page.
Has to. Number one. That's where it all started.
For like 5 years. Wow, no kidding. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the logistics of how this works. Frank Reich said that he is going to start calling plays. He said it's going to be hard for him to let go, but eventually he is going to hand over the reins. How did those conversations go between the two of you to come to that?
So it's been awesome. I think being able to collaborate with him, to put our brains together with the rest of the offensive staff as well. But he's had some ton of experiences with being a play caller and being a really good one in his league. I know it's always tough to give that up, but it's kind of a fluid type of deal as far as us being able to work together every single day, but also me having to earn the opportunity for that. So having a trust between the two of us and having clear, open, and honest communication.
So if you can choose, do you like to be up high with the bird's eye view, or do you like to be down on the field?
Well, I would say I love the bird's eye view from a vision standpoint, but I'm kind of more of an on the field, interact with the guys, give kind of instant feedback type person. So if I have my choice, which I think I will, I'll be on the grass.
All right, well, I'll see you down there. I'll be down there doing sideline reporting.
Look forward to it.
Sean McVay said that you are one of the most competitive people that he has ever met. He said that's why he is the assistant head coach for the Rams.
Yeah.
What does that look like from a coaching perspective?
Very similar to being a player, minus the physical aspect of
Right.
it. But I can't run around anymore. I can, but it won't be conducive to us winning football games. So I think being able to have a mentality towards never losing, but also having that fine balance between not going overboard. My mom always called me a sore loser, which I probably was. It would take me, a long time to kind of get over some injuries. Not injuries, but also some loss as well. But I think being able to have that perfect balance between not being afraid to fail, obviously don't plan for that, but obviously learning from the mistakes you have and keep building forward to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, I would think that if you didn't lose a football game between the ages of 8 to 13, it would be hard to get used to losing
That's my
sometimes.
foundation. I got spoiled.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. High expectations.
No question.
As well. How does that competitiveness manifest off the field? Like, what are you? I know all players, former players, coaches are so competitive. So what are the things that you cannot stand to lose?
So I'm still pretty active. So I have 3 boys, right? Orlando is my oldest son, he's 14. Tyson is my middle son, he's 13. And Jude is our baby boy, he's 5. And so my 14-year-old is, about my same build, same height. So he likes to try to challenge me from time to time on, some foot races, which I have never lost to him. I won't lose for a very long time. So it's kind of more so, physical aspect of it. I think anything we compete with. So I'm a pretty competitive cat, but only stuff I'm really good at. So
like that. Yeah, you're like, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
That.
What will you not do with Orlando that you would be afraid to lose at? Like, would you play basketball with him?
Oh, yeah, I mopped the floor with him.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
all
even
right.
close.
One day, though, he's going to get you on something.
Probably
right?
10 to 15 years from now. He's too small right now. He's a pretty decent sized 14-year-old, but he don't weigh enough right now.
You play ping pong?
I don't. He would beat me at that.
I was going to say, this team is a big ping pong team now, so
I need a
might
teacher.
be time to start training.
I need a
Yeah,
teacher.
I got a few names I can give you for
I appreciate that.
What are you most looking forward to? Let's call it over the next few weeks as
Yeah.
you get settled here.
To me, it's a journey. I think, being able to step in a role here, being in a new place. I've never lived in Charlotte, so being able to get out involved in the community as much as I can in between this new role and responsibility. But to me, it's all about the people. So the people in the building, meeting with you, speaking, getting to know you better as well, but also our entire staff, our players also, and putting it all together.
Well, we are looking forward to having you. Charlotte is certainly welcoming you, and thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for your time.